Hello everybody. I just wanted to get this picture of this beautiful moon. It's almost in its Gibbons phase, so that's great. I'll explain that if I have time. What I want to talk about is right behind me, this development, these big, huge apartments that they're working on. There's 4 buildings just like this. Uh, Pretty wide and oh my god, probably about 3 times as deep, each one of these buildings, and there's 4 of them. Now, I am a hopeful, I'm a prospect for one of these wonderful, beautiful apartments, and I hope I get one. Uh, we'll see, but I'm also, this is going to be the inaugural video. I don't know, I think I'm going to post this on my YouTube. Now, I'll do a quick little spiel about that. I had obviously a Facebook profile like most of the world. But for me, Facebook has become sort of an antiquated platform because more and more of what I was doing was about video posting, sharing thoughts on video, and it was less about writing. And when I do I get so long-winded that I write a lot. And so I decided to cancel that Facebook. It's no longer there. And I've had it since Facebook has had like a platform for handheld devices. You know, going all the way back to 3G, going into the early 4G phones, you know. So, anyway, okay, so it's a little dim right now. Stick with me. Okay, this whole neighborhood used to be what was called the Bottoms in Shreveport, Louisiana. It was, and it stretches back. Officially, it's Ledbetter Heights, named after Henry Huddy Ledbetter, the folk singer who, well, actually, he became famous because he was discovered in jail or serving out a prison sentence or something like that. And yeah, he had like, they decided, you know, this guy has some cultural relevance. And, you know, his influence can still be felt on the music industry today, on the pop and rock and blues and even some country. Because primarily he sang folk music and blues. So behind me is downtown Shreveport that I'm moving on to. This is a walk I take frequently, nighttime, daytime. I want to look at those apartments. I'm very hopeful about them. But even if for some reason I don't get them, I think it's a really good thing, because the whole idea is to create a blended economic habitat for our city, which needs it. I mean, the downtown was greatly barren for a long time. There was a economic crash in the 80s, and a lot of the businesses left. There were some clubs and bars, and there's still some clubs and bars. But for a long time, there was nothing. We had casinos come. That was kind of great, kind of gave the riverfront some life. But the rest of the downtown, there wasn't a lot of business. And then we had a movie industry boom, which began in the mid-2000s and lasted a few years. Where I showed you, right behind that is the Millennium Studios, and I believe they've converted those into Millennium Studio apartments. Then I want to walk over. I want to talk about the You Need a Biscuit. You Need a Biscuit was an advertisement that had been painted on the side of one of the downtown buildings a long time ago. And for as long as I can remember, it has been a landmark. Now, the sign is nearly faded. You can barely read the remnants. They're turning. You can barely see the remnants of that sign anymore. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this late at night, but maybe these people won't mind if I step into the parking lot, into the lot. That'll be the best view. See, being a pedestrian, I get better views than people with cars. Yeah, so there are a couple of lights on. Let's see, I'm using my pointer and I suck. I don't know. Let me try to zoom in. Nope. But these lights, right back here, there's a "You Need a Biscuit" building sign. "You Need a Biscuit" in bold white letters, painted on the side of that building, and it's faded. And it's almost gone. It's not there anymore. It's kind of like a real faded old picture might be, or I don't know. It was a big landmark, though, from my childhood growing up in this town. That's going to become a development which is, it will be welcoming to lower income, and it will be welcoming to market value renters in the same building. How about that? Affordable housing and market value actually in the same building. That's what they're doing in that first development that I showed you. There's going to be market value. There's going to be, in the next phase of that area, there's going to be it's going to be an area for people who are 55 or older. They're seniors. Then beyond that, there's going to be some duplexes and some houses, for people who would prefer that experience. I think some of those are going to be houses to be owned. It's great what's happening down there. And it's right next to downtown, and some of these buildings, these old buildings, are being turned into businesses. Many of them are being turned into developments, and we have stuff going on down here. We see at Texas Street, they've got this all blocked off behind me. They're always having, especially during the fall, award season, for art cinema kind of stuff. I don't really want to creep up on it. That would be a little weird. I'm not going to walk in it, but yeah. When I turn, there's tents and pavilions and people, and they're having a real gay old time. And those things are usually pretty much open to anyone who wants to buy a ticket and go to them. I wasn't going because, honestly, I've been busy. I've got a friend getting married tomorrow. Anyway, so I'm helping out with that. But anyway, I'm really proud of what's happening. As you can see, I've taken a walk and do not mind walking after dark downtown. I'm pretty, people know me. I've been down here for a while. People know my face. I'm pretty kosher with it, and I don't know how you get along downtown, basically, or anywhere in life, really, is to mind your own business. But what's going on is that a long time ago, there was a development, an artist lofts opened up in the Lee Hardware building on the other side of downtown, and on the same property, so there was the United Jewelers building and then the Lee Hardware building. Okay, so two warehouses on the same block combined into one property. They shared the same pool. They paid their rent to the same realtor company. But what happened was there was a great sense of segregation. One building was market value. One building was affordable housing. And there was a sense of division. Even in the market value houses that were supposed to be able to accept say housing vouchers. People on out, they had it just where they refused to accept that. Basically because they would be priced just above that market value. And although they used federal monies that was to provide for that, they never really did anything. They never really. It was difficult. I was going to move into the Lee Hardware building, and quite honestly, I have a legal incident in my past that occurred probably about 30 years ago. They cited that 30-year-old incident, which was pretty minor and tame compared to the world. Basically the only blight that would be less than that would be having no blight at all. And honestly, so there was a somewhat of a minor dispute, and I had to call not the management but the owners of the company and explain what was going on, and especially the laws that take place in Louisiana that say, well, for a long time there was no such thing as, say a federal pardon or anything like that, but there was like a first-time offender, a pardon from the government, but it wasn't an expungement. It wasn't like an expungement from the record, but that was because of the state. And basically, what happened was there was a ruling around, I want to say 2014, but it may have been as early as 2004, but I'm thinking 2014 basically, where it was like, we didn't have expungement laws for a long time, and because of that, that the pardons which were given at the completion of any sort of like a penalty or anything like that carried the weight of a pardon, and that an incident from the far-reaching past should not be used for housing discrimination. And so like I said, my issue was very minor, and today would not even, it'd be like if it happened today, it'd be like, yeah, whatever, As I'm continuing to walk, this building is residential. People live in that building. People live in most of these buildings, and there's businesses. Downtown Shreveport has been, people live here, Downtown Shreveport is wakening up after a couple of years of a pandemic. Things kind of stalled, but before then we were well on the way to becoming everything that we hoped that we'd want to be. I don't think I have enough time to get over to the river, so I'm not going to do that, but I do know that they're working on the bridge that connects Shreveport to Bossier City, so that's coming up in a few weeks. Whenever they complete that bridge, it used to be a neon lit bridge with vibrant neon lights, and slowly they started to malfunction, weather damage, all that kind of stuff. So basically, and they did that in the I want to say 1992, 1993, when they did that. But then so long ago, and the technology started to fail. So now they're redoing it with New Vision, driven by private foundation that's not taking away from tax dollar money. And it's the city coming together, working with maybe some grant that's been given for neighborhood improvement, and basically what's going to happen is that they're going to relight the bridge, and they're going to do it with LED lights that are more weatherproof and should last a lot longer than the original neon lights, with just as much vibrance as you can hope to have. I love walking and checking out the moon. there's a, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful sky tonight. Okay, so what else can I tell you about Shreveport? This is the city that I love. I was born here. Um, as I came of age, I wanted some greater excitement, so I took off for, I don't know if they were greener pastures, but they were certainly more diverse pastures. You know, I did not think that I was the family man type of person to actually, you know, have and father children. I think somewhere down the line, maybe uh, I would have been enriched in some ways to have that experience, but ultimately that was not to be my experience, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, so I went off and I had these great little adventures, but I always ended up coming back home. Uh, and so that's cool, you know, because I do have a hometown pride that is Shreveport, Louisiana, and my neighboring city of Bossier City. Uh, but yeah, and I'm getting this downtown experience that I love. I'm coming up here, if you don't know Shreveport, uh, across the street is the Strand Theatre. Strand Theatre. At some point, I was a wannabe thespian. No, I wasn't a wannabe thespian. I was a thespian. I made a living on stage, local theater. And so, this is our official state theater. I don't know when it became the official state theater, but I love it. And I guess they're having a grand reopening December the 7th. There's going to be shows and stuff, so I don't know. 21-22 season. And I don't know about all that. The guy looks like that movie Big. So I'm gonna cross the street, catty corner. Oh, I don't know what's going on down there, but I hear music. It could be two things. There could be something going on in the Festival Plaza, a couple of blocks down that way. And I think it is. I think there's something going on in the Festival Plaza. And then there is a place down there called The Lot, where they do music and they have food venues and everything. Cool. So this is the Strand, the facade of the building across the street, and then as I walk over here, and then I'll turn around, we'll actually catch a glimpse of my building, which is a building that's in disrepair. It needs to be that big tall building on this farthest block back here. That's the Fairmont. You can barely see it in this dark and this light. It needs to be updated. I love it. I hope that they'll fix the building. I also hope I get to move into one of the new developments, because with its lovely amenities and you know, whatever happens, I'm very proud, very pleased to be part of the downtown Shreveport community, downtown Shreveport, Louisiana. I'll do more stuff about my city. I went off of Facebook, and I was like, you know, maybe I want to have something to say when I decide to go back to social media in a way that is, you know, constructive, and in a way that can raise awareness and positivity. And I think what my takeaway from this talk is it's going to be a little bit social and economic. What I want to do is I want to make aware that we have to break up these pockets of poverty in our inner cities and our urban areas surrounding that, because when you take people and you put them in the nucleus of that poverty, and then they don't ever really leave the few blocks of their neighborhood, maybe they're quarter of a mile or up to a mile or so, wherever it is, however big that thing is, that blockage, that the parameters of their neighborhood, if they never leave their neighborhoods and that's where they spend their life, and And then there's people, people pile up and then they get aggressive. Hello. They pile up and then they get aggressive, and through these pockets of poverty, they pile up, they get aggressive. And the struggle sometimes becomes too much, and people succumb to the ways of people succumb to, you know, untoward ways to a healthier society. Basically, that's your drugs, street, violence, whatever. But, I mean, people are people. Nobody's perfect. Uh, Basically, the antidote to that is to not put people into a box in any way, shape, or form. Uh, diversity is a great thing. All walks of life being exposed to each other is really, really great, because it's mind opening uh, to a diverse experience, culturally diverse. It happens in music, uh, almost always first in this country, the great United States of America. Uh, and maybe it's time that we start living our music in our lives. And I'm not talking about the negative, uh, the angry angst music. I'm talking about like the spirit of acceptance that abounds in American music, and awareness, and human kindness and brotherly love and all that kind of good stuff. With that, CJ Miller, I'm signing off. Bye.